Hey everyone, we are diving right in. I am fired up. I am taking back the podcast. Ryan will be on whenever he can. But welcome to the Wake Up Call podcast. It is a new fucking day and I am on fire. If you hear my dog in the background, that is Miracle. She is incredible. Almost 15 years old for a little Shih Tzu. How is that? I am a really good mom. Very healthy dog. So, anywho, what I want to talk about is Euphoria. Yes, Euphoria, the TV show, the series, I should say. It's not a TV show. It's a series on HBO. They call it a drama. I pulled it up. They call it a drama. It started in 2019. And to be really transparent, I didn't watch the other two seasons. Season three just started a few weeks ago. Ryan always did. I traveled a lot as a sales rep. I wasn't home. I go to bed early. So he would watch it, something to watch. And he was always really into the characters in terms of character development. And I would kind of just roll my eyes and be like, why do I want to watch a show about teenagers getting high and having sex? Like, I'm beyond this. Well, now, as a writer, as I'm writing my science fiction book, I'm very into character development, and it's also in conjunction with being a metaphysical, intuitive, and energetic business coach. So all of this goes together, 5 years later. I think that's when the last show was. So it's actually a fascinating show. It's the writing's incredible, the acting's incredible. Kudos to everyone at HBO. It really is an incredible show. So if you don't like violence, if you don't like sex, if you don't like drugs, and you can't get through that, probably not for you. Also, too, if you are watching the show, this may be a little bit of a spoiler for you, as what I'm going to talk about. So feel free to catch up on the episodes and circle back to my podcast. But I never want to be like a spoiler for somebody. So I'm just giving that as a little bit of a warning. So, what has happened out there as a trend online, which then goes into real life, which Euphoria is so cleverly using, is women leaving their husbands because they want success. They want money. They want fame. They want all these things. And I know this because I personally lived through this a few years ago. I was working with a mentor that started in May of 2022. And it started off great. I bought all her programs, her books, was in her book club, in her groups, had a one-on-one coaching session that was not a cheap price point, but nothing's really manifested from that yet, but it was still good. I really liked her a lot. And she started channeling a higher version of herself, which got very ego based. And because she struggled with relationships, it came out through the channel that we should all leave our spouses or partners in order to become successful. And this was the narrative. And she started doing this in October of 2023. And I would hear it. And what happens is in cults, and cults are never fully defined very well, in my opinion. What happens in cults and what a cult is it's something that gives you like some carrots, some good tips, but it keeps stringing you along. So you're looking outside of yourself for answers. So cults can show up in religion, in a church, for sure, in relationships, that aspect of it, communities, women's group communities, I think are such a prevalent place for this type of experience. Like a woman is looking for friendship, and so she joins a community. It shows up in so many places. Once you become aware of it, you can't unsee it. Like it's just like in your face everywhere. So I saw this and it didn't bother me because I was still getting a lot of information. It created a little bit of doubt, but I refused to leave my husband. I think he's amazing. And I know our path. I built this business with him. Our life here is incredible. And yes, not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but we figure it out. And that's why I know I can help other people with these things too. And so can he. So what ended up happening was I did cut bait on being in all of her courses, everything on April 5th of 2024, which completely changed the trajectory of my relationship with my husband within 10 days. It was crazy. And has completely changed everything in my life, my mental health, my husband's health, all the things. And so this storyline that they're doing in Euphoria is so on trend because this is what's happening out there. I have since seen other coaches on Instagram post like you need to leave your husband if you wish to be successful and create courses around this. Like it's bananas. And I've quietly watched from the outside and not said anything, which is actually just wrong. I need to speak the truth, which is this, and that this is going on. And let me tell you, being alone and not being married or having a spouse or partner, it's fine, but there are plenty of people that wish they had somebody. And I know I lived that path too before I met my husband, and I wrote two books about it. So check them out. And there are so many lonely people. And yes, it's great to have like friend groups. And I'm not trying to make someone feel bad, but I'm sure that they would, if they were truthful, they would be like, yeah, I really do wish I had someone to go on vacation with or go to a wedding with or have dinner with at least. So we want connection. We're humans. This is part of the gig. Like we crave connection. But we also have to realize that we are sovereign. We are God's source energy. We are sovereign. We are responsible for ourselves and that includes our choices. So this storyline is just incredible because you have Cassie, who is a main character, Sydney Sweeney, and she got married to Nate, and his name is Jacob Elrodi. If I pronounce that incorrectly, I'm very sorry. And he was working on a real estate deal that has gone south because the real estate deal the property has some protected flowers on it. So he's not able to build and he's borrowed money for this project. These are things that happen, people. I have the chills. These are things that happen. This is what happens in a business. You need money. You often borrow money. It may take some time to pay it back. You may run into complications. So he ran into an unforeseen complication that was like, oh my gosh, now I can't build on this property because there's these protected flowers. Sydney Sweeney's character, Cassie, as they're preparing for the wedding, is loaded with ego, and wants flowers for the wedding that cost 50 grand. So she can fill her ego. So at first he says no, and then she starts selling herself online with provocative poses on the internet, and he doesn't want that for his wife. So he's like, I'll get the flowers for you. So they have the flowers. It goes awry from there. Where I want to go with this, because yes, I am a spoiler here, is she leaves him. She leaves him. She leaves him. When the money guy comes to collect the money at the wedding, which is quite a scene, which then carries forward after that, she leaves him. She leaves him. So now she's caught up with drugs and selling herself and all these things. And I said to Ryan this morning, I said, this is so what's going on out there is these women are going to give up on their men. And this could happen the other way too. So believe me, this can happen both sides. I'm not trying to pick on women. This can happen on the other side. This can happen with same-sex relationships as well. It doesn't matter. We're all people doing these things. And she is now going down a downward spiral. And I could totally foresee that he ends up figuring this out. And he ends up like getting this done or figuring out the solution or whatever. And in the meantime, she's like a drug addict, having sex with strangers and posting shit online. So, but that's what's going on out there, people. That's your wake-up call. That's your wake-up call. This is life. It's a long game. There are challenges. There are complexities in your business. There are challenges in your relationships. People like have to figure things out. That's how the universe works. You're not given everything on a fucking silver platter. You're just not. You're not given everything on a silver platter. You have to do the work. You have to show up. You have to figure things out. You have to know that the shit's going to hit the fan, but have the inner frequency that you trust that it all works out in time and space is your biggest ally. And figure things out. Let ideas come to you. And that's what I help people with expanded consciousness and intuition so you can get through the hard times because they will happen. And it is much better for you in the long game, to be able to handle these things from a place of leadership and standards and holding the pressure and figuring things out. Because otherwise, you're going to end up like she's going to end up likely. Now, I'm not a writer, so I don't really know. I mean, a writer for this show, but that's what I saw this morning when I woke up and Ryan and I were talking about it was this is a trend that's happening out there. People are being told to leave their spouses and partners when the going gets tough instead of the tough get going, the going like the tough like run away. I mean, the weak people like run away and the tough people are the people that are going to figure it out. They're going to know that something's going to happen from this. And you know what? Honestly, it takes time does take time. And that's the thing. People want all this instant success right away, but it doesn't work like that. It literally does not work like that. You should read a book about like the laws of the universe instead of consuming like manifestation content on TikTok. Like if you just start to really study the universe, like we can't change the universe. And I think that was like such a conversation with my husband and I years ago was like, we can't change the universe. Like the universe is the universe. It controls like there's galaxies out there. There's all sorts of things. And I could go down a whole rabbit hole with you on that if you're a Star Wars fan and you actually believe in these things versus just consuming it as nonfiction, as fiction, sorry. But it's so fascinating when you really like look at some of these shows, and that's what I love as a writer is like how they take real life things that are happening out there and apply it. So this season with Euphoria totally gets my thumbs up. Yep, I have to like close my eyes sometimes to be really honest. I'm like, oh, I really don't need to see that. But it is definitely an amazing season. There's so much more to it. I loved the card playing scene with Rue. That was incredible in terms of the character Alamo and Rue and the daddy lines that were oh I have the chills like just such amazing writing. Ryan didn't catch it all right away. I was like, oh, did you catch that? Oh, did you catch what he said? Like it's just fantastic. And the other guy reminds me of Prince. So I think that's really cool too. But I'm gonna cut this for now. I've got a lot of wake up call related content to share about. And the next one, if I kind of get my thoughts together, will probably come out pretty soon. And this one is interesting on many levels, and it's going to be totally, I'm going to find what it's called, about communal narcissism and pathological altruism. And yep, I'm going to go here, and some people may not like it. melindavanfleet.com.